Friends of Edgerton Ryerson presents.
Ryerson was in a new country, and he realized that in the clash of cultures as they were increasing, and I don't mean just cultures that are from different countries or different religions. There was cultures in rich people and poor people. There was cultures in working class people and upper class people. There was cultures in British people, and everyone else was swine at their feet. Within a country growing like this, there was only one route in Ryerson's mind, and that was for everyone to be able to share knowledge. And that meant you had to read and write. You had to know when to do calculations. You had to find common ground. And you weren't going to find it in a church. You were only going to find it when you could talk with each other about the same idea. That would be in school. By 1840s, many of the native communities that Ryerson visited were largely Christian, with their own Christian leaders and preachers who were often the group's chief. They were acutely conscious of survival and the spiritual crisis in their communities. The total Indigenous population of southern Ontario had shrunk to about 8,000, while the settler population was about to pass 1 million. The loss of hunting territory meant fewer food supplies, exposure to immigrant germs and infections, but little access to any health care was taking a toll. The proliferation of alcohol was often used to incapacitate the Indigenous people and then take terrible advantage of them. Methodism opposed alcohol and promoted education. Both goals were necessary to Indigenous survival. In July 1846, chiefs and leaders met in Orillia and discussed survival issues with government officials and the need for more schools. And Ryerson wrote a report about them in 1847. Although he referred to some schools as industrial schools, where native youths would learn both skills of farming, they would also have to have the normal curriculum of reading and writing and arithmetic. He strongly supported both arts and sciences being taught in all schools. The Ryerson Institute of Technology opened in 1948. It transitioned to become Ryerson Polytechnical Institute in 1964. By 1977, Ryerson Polytechnical Institute required that no matter what program you were taking, some arts courses were mandatory for graduation. The impact of his mission to bring education to the public is unparalleled. Books were needed. Higher education was needed. And so in the 1830s, he founded and was the first principal and president of Victoria College, which eventually became affiliated with the University of Toronto, and then it became an independent university associated with the University of Toronto. Well-trained, qualified teachers were needed. And Ryerson established the first normal school for teachers in 1846-47, and he found a permanent site for it in 1850 by buying the needed land to build an independent building himself. For Ryerson, being educated was way more than acquiring knowledge. It was also knowing what you could do with what you knew. And his lead has been followed almost up to the present day. Cultural assimilation was never his plan. The accusations that have been made against him are intentional distortions of truth. You know, there's a poem, I didn't write it, but it's written by a woman, Mrs. Mary Ann Kidder, 1820 to 1905. You can find her online. She was a prolific writer of hymn lyrics and other poetry, and this poem was published in 1877. Now, I share it with you because I think it makes as much sense today as it did then, and it well may inspire truth to be sought about Egerton Ryerson. And it's called What Became of a Lie. First, somebody told it. Then the room wouldn't hold it, so the busy tongues rolled it till they got it outside. And when the crowd came across it, and never once lost it, they tossed it till it grew long and wide. From a very small lie, sir, it grew deep and high, sir, till it reached to the sky, sir, and frightened the moon. For she hid her sweet face, sir, in a veil of cloud lace, sir, at the dreadful disgrace, sir, that happened at noon. This lie brought forth others, dark sisters and brothers, and fathers and mothers, a terrible crew, and while headlong they hurried, the people they flurried, and troubled and worried, as lies always do. And so evil boded, this monstrous lie goaded, till at last it exploded in smoke and in shame. While from mud and from mire, the pieces flew higher and hit the sad liar and killed his good name. Is that what will happen to Ryerson University, now the Toronto Metropolitan University, that their deliberate promotion of distortions of truth and indifference to the destruction of Ryerson's statue, itself public property, will it come back to undermine their reputation?